lads, next up today on the Peter Wells Show, have you ever watched a movie that doesn't just end, it kind of haunts you? And, No Country for Old Men, it ain't just a thriller. It's a slow, methodical descent into chaos. It's meditation on evil, man. It's whisper in your ear that says some things can't be explained. Some things are just the way they are. And that's the creepy thing about No Country for All Men. This is a movie that is brilliant for both men and women. It's slow paced like The Godfather, if you know what I mean. Okay? Very slow paced, but that's the beauty, that's the essence of this creepy, entertaining, unbelievably entertaining movie. It's unreal, lads. And by the time the credits roll, you're not clapping. You're just sort of sitting there staring, asking yourself, what was that? And you feel a little kind of older. And that's what this film does, man. It ages you in the best, most brutal way possible. Let's get into it. Okay, lads. Now, this isn't just your average cat and mouse movie, right? This is a collision course between, what would I say, chaos versus principle. That would be the best way to explain that. A blue-collar hunter stumbles onto a briefcase full of drug money in the middle of the desert, and what follows? Just death in the form of, well, I don't know, but played by Javier Bardem in what might be one of the most terrifying performances since Hannibal Lecter chewed the scenery. I mean, this guy, he won the Oscar for this movie. He's a freak. Let me repeat that again. The guy is a goddamn freak. How the hell he even made those facial expressions could get even through this movie. You've got three players on the board. A guy who makes one bad decision to keep that money. You've got a force of nature, not a man, and with fate, with a bad haircut and a coin. And you've got the old cowboy watching the world unravel from the sidelines and realizing he's not cut out for this new era. Now, it's adapted from I think it's Cormac McCarthy's novel, lads. The Coen Brothers stripped this film down to the bone. There's no score. There's no filler, just raw atmosphere, just set in the 1980s in Texas. And the film, it's a postmodern Western drenched in silence, in dread, philosophical doom. And, it's a film that asks, what if evil just doesn't make sense? What if justice is not guaranteed? As slow-paced as the movie is, when it kicks off, man. I mean, you're on the edge of your seat. You've got Josh Brolin. He's on the run with the money, okay? Brilliant performance, too, I gotta admit, by him. And then you've got Chigurh. I think it's Chigurh. I'm sorry, guys. I can barely pronounce the name. He's tracking him with a transponder, slaughtering people with a cattle bolt. Like, who thought of a cattle bolt, right? Like he's exterminating pests. I mean, it literally is like that. Then you've got, meanwhile, Tommy Lee Jones as the sheriff he's always just a day late and a dollar short. He really is. And the tension, it's quite unbearable. You're, like I said, you're gripping the seat. You're watching this slow burn turn into a goddamn inferno. Now, here's the twist. So we won't be giving anything away. This isn't a movie where the climax gives you satisfaction, lads. There's no final showdown. There's no neat closure. Maybe that's the word. Moss, gone, off screen. Chigurh, wounded, sure, but alive. Always alive. Evil just doesn't die, right? It just limps away into the night. And then the sheriff, he retires. He's kind of broken. He's beaten. He's dreaming about a past he can't get back. And I mean, that's what I love about. Like, let's look at Javier Bardem. He's going around slaughtering people like they're cattle. He has one of the most terrifying, weird, disturbing haircuts you'd ever see on screen. His voice is magnetism. It is creepy, dark, luring. you think the guy needs to be put into a straitjacket, which, well, he is. He needs to be put into a straitjacket instantly, you know? And you can tell by his just pure physical presence, the guy is just not all there. And he's quite a cool, calculated killer. You know, he doesn't freak out. He doesn't panic. He's on the ball. And then you got Josh Brolin, real kind of slick Texan Westerner, you know, and the voice alone, he kind of give you kind of creepy, even though Josh Brolin is kind of technically the good guy, even though he's not really. He's an a-hole. But, you know, and he gets caught up in greed, and he's an ex-Vietnam vet, and, you know, he knows a thing or two. So that does really do kind of make it, as in he's bringing the fight to Javier Bardem, which is great. It's awesome. You know, and then Tommy Lee Jones, you can feel that guy aged 10 years doing this movie or something. That's the genius, lads. The Coens, they don't just give you what you want. They give you what's true. Sometimes the bad guy walks away. Sometimes you just don't win. Sometimes good men get left behind. And sometimes the world moves on. Colder, maybe a little darker and stranger than you thought ever possible. No Country for Old Men. It's entertainment, but not entertainment. It's a mirror. And what you see depends on what kind of person you are when you walk in. I couldn't recommend it enough, guys. You know, and it's one of those slow burning movies, like I said, but it's not slow burning. And it keeps you on the edge of your seat. And I have heard people report right now, oh man, I couldn't watch that movie, right? You know, it was just really slow, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? But if you give it 20 minutes, just give it 20 minutes, let it kickstart into life, and you will not be sorry. Gotta say, it won Oscar for Best Picture. Javier Bardem won for Best Supporting Actor. I think he's probably in the top 3 Oscar-winning supporting roles ever for this. I couldn't recommend this movie enough. I've seen it about 50 times. Maybe you will. No Country for Old Men, ladies and gentlemen. It's a classic.
Peter.
Wow.